I play both Wuwa. I played Wuwa since day one. I play Genshin since Inazuma.
Oh, you lucky bitch. You can still play. Oh, you lucky son bitch. Oh, you lucky son bitch, man. Oh, no. Goddamn. This one start beef with this nigga, man. God, babe. I believe that in every gaming community, there is a particular phenomena that is not unique to any one of them. And that is, of course, the I quit sud game type of trend that you typically see when that game starts to not do the best in terms of decisions from the developers to their player base. And the Genshin Impact is no exception. And the reason why these become a trend is because of the shock factor they may have in their respective communities. Because for someone that's passionate about said media, you look at that person that's quitting, you're like, how can you even live with yourself without this? Like, I personally can't even see how I can just quit. And, you know, especially when you have it bad and you're very passionate. Oh man, that is just rough. That is just rough. And hence, I think that's why there's that shock factor. There's, of course, relatability, people that feel the same way. And there's also that shock factor. And shock factors really, really propulse conversations to high degrees and make them trendy in their particular space. And of course, Genshin Impact is no difference. However, we have seen recently a huge surge of the I Quit Genshin Impact to somewhat ridiculous degree, and one cannot ignore the virality that came with them, where it started to feel like it became a meta more than it is actual genuine feel, as we have seen recently with the whole Candy Buck stuff, where she's there like, I love Genshin Impact, there's probably a chance I'm gonna keep dabbling on it, but then she's saying all this stuff that makes it seem like she want to quit or everything. So it's like, kind of make up your mind. You're in this love-hate you're in this situationship with the game. It's we don't know, like you gotta pick one really, because it feels like you're miserable and you're starting to trauma dump on the community. It's kind of weird, low-key. And due to these factors, I feel like the community has had a little bit enough of the I quit thing, because it's starting to feel disingenuous and more of a YouTuber move than a genuine criticism towards the game. Now, recently, someone, I think, who is known to be a Hoyoshill, Zome, made I quit Genshin videos are genuinely regarded. I'm pretty sure it's in response to this particular phenomena we have seen recently. Now, recently, we have seen, I forgot his name already, I apologize. Yesterday, I made a video of someone that was pretty based in how he responded to his favorite game's criticism, like critiquing to be done correctly. And for the critiquing, if it's going to be done, at least understand the media properly. That'd be nice. And I feel like that was one of the best videos in defense of Genshin Impact I've ever seen. Now, considering the title here, I don't think it's going to have the same messaging, but I'm pretty sure it's the same in spirit. But we're about to find out. Without further ado, let's get active. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to not miss any updates.
I guess I better go subscribe to VXB Gotcha.
So recently there's been this huge, massive spike of people creating entire channels just to let everybody know how they quit Genshin and how Genshin sucks and everybody should play Wuwa because Wuwa is the better game.
Well, technically, the guy, the GPG, I think he's referring to the great GPG. He mentioned that you can play any other game. Just do not play Genshin Impact, as this is the dev practice you're going to be supporting, and he wasn't all for that. So, all right, it's like, okay, because I feel like gacha games are designed to be side games. So really, you gotta have some main games, you know, like genuine good AAA, not predatory, not trying to take advantage of you in any shape or form type of main game. And gacha to be on the side, all right? They're still enjoyable, but I don't think it's healthy for you as an individual and more so as a gamer to have these as the main game you play. But then again, it depends on the type of person, of course. I'm just talking about the general known behavior of your average gamer, but this will vary from person to person 100%.
I'm someone who complains about Genshin anytime I get the chance to, right? I complain more about Genshin than I have videos praising it, right? Like I complain about this game over and over. However, even I think that this is going way too far. There is thousands of videos on a daily basis letting everybody know how Genshin is shit and everybody needs to stop playing it and only stick to Wuwa.
Okay, so he's talking about tribalistic video. I don't think I see a lot of those. I think it's people are just complaining about the game itself. They stick to it, to just that. Maybe the great GPG isn't the best example, of course, because I feel like the great GPG, like ultimately, like again, he just said play something else that's not predatory, really. because he mentioned other games that most of them are not gacha. 90% of what he suggested were not gacha. I can't even remember if he mentioned Withered Waves or not, but I think he's referring to other people that I personally haven't seen. I'll just take his word for it, I guess.
Think this is just completely false propaganda and gacha tribalism that doesn't actually help anyone. I remember the first time I played Genshin, which, mind you, I started playing during Inazuma, and back then the game was much worse.
And it felt magical still because, like, again, I said before and I'll say it again, the space still hasn't evolved to what it is now, as in the gaming space as a whole. So, and also Genshin was the best experience you can have for an anime free-to-play game at the time. So it felt wow for its time. But for now, considering how the times have progressed and evolved, yeah, it's just it's like showing someone a Nokia versus a smartphone. It's just, yeah, it's like, yeah, a Nokia was, playing Snake on a Nokia was snapperino, boy. But now it's like, yeah.
The game back then was much worse. It was complete ass, right? We didn't have any of the quality of life features.
Yeah.
And yet, the first time I played Genshin back then, I cannot describe the feeling I had, but it was so magical.
Yes,
and
me
so
too, man.
addicting.
Me too.
It
Me
was
too,
one of the
man.
most fun times in my life
Yes.
I've had with any game ever. And I
Yes.
think making people miss that experience and purposely try to convince them to not play it.
I don't think they're convincing people to not play I've never told people to not try Genshin Impact. If you've never played Genshin Impact, especially if you're a non-gamer, you want to get into gaming, Genshin is a huge, amazing gateway. It is. It's kind of like I feel like Genshin, in terms of gacha and gaming, is what Dragon Ball is to anime. Like Dragon Ball was a huge gateway anime for many, and it was good. I would still recommend to just start with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is a safe anime to recommend, especially as a gateway. Like, because you can tell it's just anime. It's kind of silly, low key, and that's it. I feel like that's what Genshin is. But telling people to quit now is kind of fair, because considering how the space is in gaming as a whole is progressing, how gacha is also, like, this little sphere that gacha is evolving through now new competitors, Genshin does feel like it's anti-consumer. And as consumers, people typically do not want to encourage behaviors from developers and practices that are anti-consumer, that are more pro-corpa than anything. That's just a fair type of criticism that I think is totally fine, because if we don't have that criticism, Genshin gets to continue regardless. And we want to re-spark that feel of magic that he mentioned before. And I feel like, once again, people should experience that, because I believe Genshin is a good game for the uninitiated. It really is. I was uninitiated first. It was a magical experience, especially for its time, once again. But now, considering the times and the gaming sphere and everything I mentioned before, I cannot in good faith recommend Genshin Impact to the average gamer. However, I can safely recommend it to someone that's trying to start playing video games or can only play on mobile. That is a video game I can safely recommend. And of course, with the disclaimer, try to not spend and be careful with these predatory practices. That's a very important disclaimer to be attached to your recommendation.
Stupid propaganda about how WoWa is better and everybody needs to play that.
If you ask the average gamer, that's just a fact. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a Kurubot or I not, none of them love me anyway. Hoyoshills hate me and Kurubots hate me. I'm detested by everybody in terms of tribalistic, just to be clear. And I can safely say that this is just the fact. Like, you just look at both products, you experience both products from a gamer perspective. Obviously, Wuthering Waves is leaps and bounds above Genshin Impact. And the reason is simple. It came out, I think, 4 years later, and obviously with the intent to be a superior product to Genshin Impact. Like, duh. Of course it's gonna be better. Duh. But besides that, if, for example, you cannot play Wuthering Waves because, well, you know, WoWa has RAM leakage, stuff like that. Like, your machine cannot handle Wuthering Waves. You can still use GeForce Now Cloud Gaming. I think that's a easy, good solution. Sometimes it's a little annoying, as we've seen with certain patch updates. But all in all, you can just use GeForce Now and you can play for a whole hour and you can just reset every time. I love cloud gaming, even for Genshin Impact. I love to use cloud gaming, especially when I'm playing on my laptop, because my laptop cannot handle a video game up and my browser being up. I hate that. I need something in the background as I'm slopping it up in my gacha. As that's why I say they're casual side games, because I feel like I just love sometimes, especially when I'm in the daily phase and there's not many main story quests or anything. I just like to slop it up as I'm listening to something in the background. I'm pretty sure some of y'all are doing that shit right now. Oh no. I see you, chat. I see you. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is Genshin is something I would recommend to someone that may not have the ability to play Withering Waves. It's a good game. But if you have the ability, which is your average gamer, have a good machine, and you get to choose between the two, you're going to play WoW. You want to know who has it the best? People that can play Genshin and Withering Waves. I'm jealous of those, mother. Yep, because they have the ability to enjoy them both. For me, for example, if I were to jump from Withering Waves to Genshin now, because I wish I tried, the movement and everything feels so different that I have a hard time shaking that feeling. And plus, considering my history with the game, considering my time within the community and witnessing the dev practices and all the complaints and a lot of the stuff still being present, like the books or the 50-50 system and all that, the rack of skip button, all that, I have a hard time just switching from WoW to Genshin Impact. But some people do, and I'm low-key jealous of those people, man. I am. Like, more power to you, man. Because here's the thing, you get to enjoy both. Because what's the whole point of playing these video games? It's to enjoy them, right? To have fun. They have the ability to enjoy both. We don't. I feel like they got it. Them ninjas got it good.
Sad because so many people are gonna miss this magical experience of playing Genshin for the first time just because they
just play Genshin first and then move to WoW. That's the best.
saw some idiots convincing them to not play the game. And of course, WoW is a good game in terms of quality of life. Currently, it's the much better game, right? It has a lot of aspects that it's better in than Genshin. And overall, at the moment, as a gacha game, I would say WoW is better. But just because Wuthering Waves is better in a lot of aspects and maybe even better overall, that doesn't mean that Genshin is a bad game. It's still, regardless of how good Wuthering Waves is, Genshin has its individual own magical experience that you're not going to get anywhere else. It still stands out and it's still very unique. You're not going to find a game like Genshin.
Lore wise, sure, I can be there. Gameplay wise, yeah, them days gone, boy. Yeah, back in this was strong in 2021, when I think 2021 when Genshin Impact came out. Oh, this was the rule of thumb in the gacha space. You will not find anything like Genshin Impact at that time. This was the line, and that was accurate and factual as hell. But now, I'm sorry, when I log into NTE or WoW, I'm having that Genshin experience. I know I am, because I think maybe he's clouded by nostalgia, which we have seen this becoming a bit of a trend recently, nostalgia in gacha. I feel like he's just remembering fondly the good old days, and he's applying that to the now. Well, the magical feel is no longer the case, because the rainbow phase, it's kind of like the start of a relationship. You have the rainbow phase, but the rainbow phase at some point ends, and then there's, well, the work to maintain and revive the spark each and every single day. And that takes dedication and effort and time from both parties. And in this instance, we have us, the players, and the developers. And it seems recently only we, the players, have been pulling the weight. They're not pulling their weight. The devs ain't pulling their weight. So it can definitely make people feel disappointed and want to move on to other relationships, other gachas. I think that's the best analogy I can give for this one. I think I just hit the nail on the head.
The first time you play this game, it either immediately bores you and you never come back to it, or you immediately become addicted. It's just a very unique game, and I think constantly trying to convince people to quit the game and not play it and only play WoW is just really dumb. It really makes people miss an experience that they wouldn't get anywhere else.
If they're aggressive about it like that in the way he's framing it, that's just cringe, in my opinion, corny as all hell. But if someone is just displeased with Genshin, but they still like to have a similar type of experience, you recommend Withering Waves. And I feel like that's what's really happening, because as an ex-Genshin player that was precisely this type of player that I just mentioned, WoW came in strong. And I feel like that's what made WoW so successful, is because WoW solved the problem that a huge amount of Genshin players had at the time, is we wanted more in terms of gameplay, in terms of dev practices in Genshin Impact that we just did not have, and that was a problem. And Withering Waves came in with the solution. That's it.
Maybe they won't like Genshin, but if they don't like that, it's fine, right? They can just play WoW. And again, there's nothing wrong with quitting Genshin, right? You can quit Genshin and play whatever the fuck you want. That's not the problem. I play both WoW. I've played WoW since day one. I've played Genshin since Inazuma.
Oh, you lucky bastard. You can still play. Oh, you lucky son bitch. Oh, you lucky son bitch, man. Oh no, goddamn, this start beef with this ninja, man. Goddamn, babe.
You can quit either game. That's completely fine. But I don't get why people are constantly trying to convince others to not even try the game when it's literally still a great game. Genshin has a lot of problems, but at its core, it's a game that you're not going to find anywhere else.
Well, we do now. Again, I feel like he's still in 2021. I feel like on this line, with this line of his. But yeah, I do agree with the fact that it's still a good game. If you remove comparison, Genshin is a good, solid product. Yeah, easily recommendable. You can easily, especially for the non-average gamer. For sure, for sure. Or someone that may and have the ability to enjoy different things, even if one of them can feel mechanically regressive in comparison to the new shiny toy. If you have that ability, then yeah, Genshin is an easy recommend as well.
Still a good game despite all its
Like
issues.
him.
And there's a reason why so many people who play Genshin for the first time immediately become addicted by it because of how magical and unique it is. It has a very specific experience that you're not going to get anywhere else, and that is just a
Why is he repeating that like it's gonna transform into a reality? No, again, wake up. Don't you hear yourself already? Jesus.
Okay, you can disagree with that, but I think this is just the objective reality that I saw.
Subjective. Not objective. That is not the case. Okay, like for crying out loud, we have NTE and WoW now, and we're having more stuff coming out. So Silver Palace is around the corner. I mean, bro, how is this? You're not gonna get it anywhere else. What are you talking about? Of course, the whole point of Wuthering Waves, NTE, and Silver Palace is for you to be able to have that magical feel somewhere else. They're capitalizing, obviously, the whole inception of these games is an attempt to capitalize on the huge success of Genshin Impact. They are by design. They are designed. They have spent millions of dollars to design them to be as magical as Genshin Impact. Now, I don't know why he keeps saying this. I don't know. See, this is why he's known as a Hoyoshill. That's that Hoyoshill popping off there. But you know, it's fine, but we just need to call it out when we see it, all right? So that we don't get confused.
These videos are just so performative. It's insane.
There it is. There it is. I was sure he was going to talk about that. I was sure of it. It does come off as performative. At some points, you think about it like it's the YouTube game. Sure, it does.
Every time
100%.
you look at these videos, they just repeat problems that we've heard over 50 times already. It's the same shit over and over. And it's so obvious that these people don't actually care. They only make these videos to get subs because they see that it gets a lot of views and a lot of reactions. And so they make this content to get subs. And then they think it's going to boost them. But then we look at their channel.
Well, think about this for a second. Is that not smart, though? Is that not smart, though? I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game. They play players. You'll see a trend. You can capitalize on the trend and kickstart your career as a YouTuber. Why would you not do that? Especially if you're coming from a genuine place. There is some honesty, I feel like, in some of the things they're saying. I can sense that. But obviously, that's not everything. And that's a fair call out. That's for sure. We're not stupid. I feel like the audience is not stupid. We know. I feel like Zone right now is just saying what we all have been thinking for quite some time now. Yeah. And that has been very much more so accentuated with the whole candy bug thing.
After that, they just don't get any views anymore. These people are essentially creating these whole channels.
Okay, well, hold on. Well, hold on. I think the great GPG he used is not a good example. He didn't even make a Genshin video since. He's just talking. Like this is just a hobby to him. He's just messing around. That's a decent attempt, but I feel like real ones are gonna be they make I quit Genshin and then they start moving to Withering Waves, stuff like that. Once they pop off in the algorithm favors them, they're accepted, so they can start then. They follow up on that success. That's the smart approach. Looking at the great JPEG, that's not what he was doing. I feel like he was coming from a genuine place. I really do.
It's very small channels that use this method as like a boost to get a lot of subs and views in a quick time.
Which is just smart.
And
don't hate the player, hate the game.
Them out as a content creator, but in reality, it just gives you an audience that's only there to hear you shit on Genshin, and you're
not necessarily. There will be some fans there too that do relate to the sentiment there. There they are. And it's not all bad.
It gets to a point, bro. We have so many of these videos. We get it, bro. You can play WoW, you can play Genshin, it doesn't matter. I think both games are great. However, both games, despite being great, also have their problems, and you can play either game. There's no need to convince people to not play it. People can try it, If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't.
Well, no. Considering the predatory aspect of the game, you cannot, in good faith as a gamer, just not call out the predatory practices and at least give a disclaimer to the player base. I think that's very important. Like, I'm sorry, but that's what the great JPEG was doing, which is the example he's giving here. He's focusing on him, looking at the thumbnail of the video here as well. No. I think the great JPEG, for example, did a fantastic job at least exposing exactly how a gamer or your normie should approach Genshin Impact and really anything close and similar to it. That's for sure.
Say that I'm a hypocrite, right? Because I have all these videos criticizing Genshin. However, I never ever have convinced anyone to not try the game or to only play WoA. I always make it very clear that both games have their problems every time I talk about it.
Yes.
Right? It's just
I mean, they have the
weird,
50-50
bro.
still,
And I really
goddamn.
think people need to stop doing this BS because it doesn't get anywhere. And, you know, it's not going to stop anyways. But holy shit, bro. It gets to a point. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Do you
you
not
got it,
agree?
man.
Let me know down below. And yeah, as I said, I think this is pretty stupid. Overall, I don't recommend anybody to watch these videos because you're not going to get any value out of them.
Hey, that's me.
Sometimes there might be a good video that's actually objective and not trying to spread their propaganda. But most of the time, it's just very obvious performative content that doesn't actually look at it
Fair enough.
objectively, but just tries to convince people that WoA is the better game and you can't play Genshin because Genshin is only for retards. That's the message that they're trying to spread
Fair
and
enough.
to give you. And it's really sad. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And I know I wanted to make a video about VAs and how people harass VAs. But bro, I was editing the video and the moment I was almost done with it, I accidentally deleted the whole thing and I just never tried. And I just never got back to it.
Mistakes happen,
But yeah,
man.
maybe I'm
Jesus.
going to make the video again and then actually upload it. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. And with that,
Try
being said, as
saving
always,
the
I
files
wish
more,
everyone
man.
a nice and wonderful day.
Yeah, click the save button, man. I know exactly what he feels like. But anyway, man, there it is. I feel like all in all, as a criticism towards the sentiment and what's happening right now with the streets in terms of I quit Genshin stuff, this is okay. It's okay. In spirit, the messaging could obviously be a little better. I think he was a little bit all over the place. Comes off a little strange in terms of messaging, but in spirit, I think I understand where he's coming from, and I think that's fair criticism. Just like we've seen before, I think the Genshin community is tired of people using their game and themselves, you know, the audience of the Genshin community, to just take advantage of them and propulse themselves for their own selfish gains through that particular sentiment. People will start to feel a little taken advantage of, and I don't think that's something we want to encourage, nor we feel for the player base to be on the receiving end of that particular thing. So yeah, I think that's totally fair. However, for the people that are using this to continue with tribalism, I feel like there is tribalism fatigue. I can still see some channels capitalizing on tribalism, but I feel like all in all, the general consensus is starting to become, man, we're tired of all this tribalistic. Boo, we're tired of it, man. Get that away from me, man. Get it out of here. I feel like that's what's happening right now, and I'm glad to see that happening. I feel like the space is recovering. It's a slow recover, but I feel like we are getting there. I mean, just seeing this from the Genshin community is pretty impressive. I mean, back in the day, you used to see the worst and you hear the worst and you assume the worst. But I feel like the more I interacted with the Genshin community, the more I have seen that they can be rational, and there is, as long as we're fair, just like any other community, they receive things pretty well. But that's just me, though. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Peace.